All right, Hawks. Here's our final part 4 of Marvin of the Great North Woods. Jean-Louis went with Marvin all the way to the train station. When the snow ran out on the banks of the muddy creek near the depot, he turned to Marvin, grinning wildly, and said, "Up, up, lève-toi, Marvin." The giant of a man swung the small boy onto his shoulders, skis and all, and carried him across the opposite bank. As the train pulled away, Marvin waved at Jean-Louis through the windows, which had become foggy with his breath. "Au revoir," he murmured. "Au revoir, Jean-Louis." Marvin sat alone on the train and thought of his family, who would be waiting for him at the station. He felt the edge of his new axe. It was so sharp, so bright, but it was good only for cutting wood. What could it do against the terrible flu that had sent him away? For each mile, the land slid out from under its snowy cover. When the train finally pulled into the station in Duluth, Marvin pressed his face against the window, the glass fogging as he searched the crowd on the platform. When Marvin stepped down from the train, he was still searching. Everyone looked pale and winter-worn, and not a single face was familiar. Then suddenly, he was being smothered with kisses and hugs. His little sisters were grabbing him around his waist, his big sisters were kissing his ears, and then all of them tumbled into Mama's and Papa's arms, and they were one big hugging bundle. "You're not dead," Marvin said. His sisters, Mama, Papa, and Aunt Geisha, and Uncle Moishi crowded around him in a tight circle. He turned slowly to look at each face. "Nobody's dead," Marvin repeated slowly. "The sickness is over," said Mama, "and you are finally home." And that's the end of our story. And there's a little, I like to read books from cover to cover. So this is called A Note from the Author. And so it says, Marvin Lasky was born in 1907 to Duluth, Minnesota. He was the first born child in America to Ida and Joseph Lasky, who had immigrated from Tsarist Russia to escape the persecution of Jews. The story of their escape in 1900 was told in my novel, The Night Journey. In 1918, an influenza epidemic swept through the United States. The disease was worse in the cities, among large populations. Old people and young people were the most vulnerable. Ida and Joseph believed that they might save at least one of their children if they could arrange for that child to go far from the city. Marvin was not chosen because he was loved most. Joseph and Ida loved all of their children. Girls in that era, however, were never permitted to travel far from home by themselves, and the last place a girl would ever be sent was to a logging camp. Marvin, therefore, was sent by himself on a train to a logging camp in the great north woods of Minnesota. Marvin Lasky, my father, is now more than 90 years old. Last time he skied was at age 83 in Aspen, Colorado. He still has a good head for figures. So this, my friends, was actual true story. And I hope you liked it. It is an AR story, so room 5, you definitely need to do a second close read and take the AR test. Thank you for coming in. I know there was a lot of parts, but it's a great story. See you, Hawks.